What's going on, everybody? It's Bontagoon here. Today I'm going to bring you part one of a short tip series that is centered around, or should I say geared around, the best gear that you can really get without getting champ gear. Now, this is for people that are spenders, but not quite enough that they can drop several $1,000s to try and get their champ gear up. This is for people that are moderate to, decently heavy spenders. Maybe they're getting some champ gear, but they can't get all of it to gold, which is totally understandable. I personally have been working on 3 champ gear pieces, and I don't plan on making more than that. Now, today I'm going to be going over cav ranged builds. Now, I am very preferable to dual troop type builds, so I will be doing this series on the 3 possible combinations that you can do on that. Today, again, will be about the cav range build. So without further ado, let's show you the piece as it would show up from the main hand all the way down to accessory. So the first one that I would do is the Skull Crusher. Now, the Skull Crusher is going to be the one that I choose for pretty much all 3 builds. And the reason being is that it gives you a 15% ranged boost right there. The infantry defense is really not that helpful, but also gives you a 20% army attack, which means that it's effectively giving you 35% ranged attack and then 20% to the other 2 troop types. Now, this helps your ranged and cav builds, and if for whatever reason infantry are using anything, they've got a little boost right there too. So that's good. Next up, we have the Bumble Helm. Now, the Bumble Helm is a pretty dang good piece. It is pretty expensive to do, though. But, I mean, it's not going to be as expensive as Champ Gear is. And it's going to give you a 30% boost to both cavalry and ranged, and 20% army HP boost is pretty decent as well. Next up, we have the Terror Shield. Now, I know some of you are like, but Bounty, look at that. It's only for infantry. That doesn't work, because you should be splitting the boosts instead of just focusing on one type. I'm going to get to that. Don't you worry. But right there, it's giving you a 35% infantry attack boost and a 15% army HP boost. Your next step is going to be that level 55 piece that is also with the Queen Bee set. However, it isn't quite as good overall compared to what you can do with what I'm about to show you as well. So the Terror Shield, along with the Gargantua Belt, still splits up the boosts and does them better than what the what you were going to be able to do getting like level 55 armor pieces. This one gives you a 37.5% cavalry attack boost and and a little army defense boost, but that's not too useful. But the 2 of these together is pretty dang good. There honestly are not a lot of armor pieces available right now, so there's not a lot to work with. I anticipate that there will probably be a level 60 armor piece coming out pretty soon. If that's the case, please compare and then go off that. So the Gargantua Belt has been one of the best cav build pieces in the game, and until the Champion Strides, I believe. Yeah, until the Champion Strides came out, it was essentially the best cav gear leg piece, hands down. There was no competition. Now it's still pretty dang good, and it's getting easier to build, so, Next up, we have the Eternal Codex, which is just a fantastic offhand piece. You're going to get a 20% cavalry attack boost and a 35% range attack boost, plus you're going to get cavalry with a little bit of health boost as well, which is always nice. And then, finally, the accessory pieces. I have 3 of them different. The reason being is that it's significantly cheaper if you are going to go and work on 3 different accessory pieces instead of just 1. Unless you're doing it over time, like if you aren't trying to get to gold pretty quickly, then yeah, it would be a little faster. Wait, cheaper. Yeah. But this way, if you are trying to get things to gold pretty quickly, then you can spend into different sets and get them to gold at relatively the same time for significantly cheaper. So, with that in mind, you could really pick any of these 3 accessory pieces and just roll with them and just make 3 of the same one if money is not that much of an issue. But if it's not, then you might as well just build champ gear pieces. This is for people that, you know, spend a fair amount to a little bit, but can't quite do enough to get full gold champ gear. So first up is the Blight Ring. For obvious reasons, the 14% range attack boost is great, and then a 15% army max HP boost is pretty good. The wall defense boost and the army defense boost, not really that big of a factor, but those 2 things are very good. Next up, we have the Dragon's Iris, which gives you cav and range both 10% attack boost, and then for all the army, 10% HP boost. And then finally, we have the Fear Drum, which is an old favorite of a lot of people. You're going to get a 16% cav attack boost, and then you're also going to get a small 5.5% cav max HP boost as well. And then you also get siege attack boost, which isn't super helpful, but you also get a gold production rate boost, which is pretty nice for people that don't really want to build, Dragon's Breaths? But they still want to get a decent gold boost that's a little bit better than free-to-play options. So, with that in mind, if you were just to pick one, I would probably go with the Dragon's Iris, just because it splits up the boosts pretty evenly, and if you built 3, you'd be getting a 30% cav attack boost, 30% range attack boost. However, if you build one of each, you're going to end up with a 24% range attack boost, and then you're going to get 26% cav attack boost, and then max HP boosts around the board a little bit. But if money's not that big of an issue, then 3 Dragon's Irises is going to be better than getting one of each. Yeah. So, I think that's the video. If any of you have any interjections or anything, please leave them in the comments below. Keep it civil. And until the next video, guys. Which, by the way, there will be 2 more parts to this one. I'm going to do infantry cav, and then I'm going to do ranged infantry, which is my personal favorite. But, yeah, until the next video, guys. Bye.